Hola amigos, I'm Alejandro. Welcome to KeySpanish. And sometimes it's confusing when to use the verbs hablar, contar, decir, when you mean to speak, to talk, to tell in English. But in this lesson, we're going to master the differences between these verbs so you can speak confidently. Vamos! We're going to start with the most straightforward one, which is hablar, because it's translated as to speak or to talk. However, there are some distinctions you need to be aware of. We use hablar to mean the general act of speaking or talking used on its own. Like, Sergio habla mucho. Es un poco pesado. Sergio talks a lot. He's a bit of a pain. O no me interrumpas cuando hablo. Don't interrupt me when I'm speaking. So in the general sense, we just say hablar, to speak or to talk. By the way, you want to say that someone speaks too much, like Sergio, we have two very funny expressions in Spanish. The first one is hablar por los codos, to talk through your elbows, literally, or no callarse ni debajo del agua, to not shut up even underwater. They don't translate directly to English very well, I think, but you have an expression that is similar, to be a chatterbox. So when someone speaks too much, you can use either of these sentences. Aside from making general statements, we also use hablar for languages. Either saying what languages you speak, like lo siento, or you don't speak, lo siento, no hablo chino. Sorry, I don't speak Chinese. You could say yo hablo inglés, español y alemán. I speak Spanish, German, and English. And also to say what language is spoken somewhere. Like in Barcelona, se habla el catalán. People speak Catalan in Barcelona. This se, by the way, is an impersonal construction. If you want me to make a lesson about that, let me know in the comments. And also, we would use hablar con to refer to whom someone is speaking. And this is the nuance or the distinction I said before. It's important to be aware of because in English you use a preposition to speak to someone, not to speak with someone so much, I think. I don't know. So, hablo con mis estudiantes en español. I speak to my students in Spanish. O ¿has hablado con tus abuelos hoy? Have you talked to your grandparents today? So to speak or talk to someone in Spanish would be hablar con alguien. And if you want to say to talk to you or to talk to me, or again, more literally in English, with me or with you, then you need to say contigo and conmigo. Quiero hablar contigo sobre tu proyecto. I want to talk to you about your project. ¿Quieres hablar conmigo? Do you want to talk to me? And the last use of hablar I'm going to cover today is to talk about how people communicate. And we use the preposition por, hablar por. Like, no me gusta hablar por teléfono. I don't like talking on the phone. O, si prefieres, podemos hablar por Zoom. If you prefer, we can talk on Zoom. Again, the preposition used here is different in English and Spanish. You talk on the phone. In Spanish, we hablar por teléfono, no hablar en el teléfono. So that's it regarding hablar. As I said, it's more straightforward because it translates directly to speak or talk in English, like to make general statements, hablas mucho, hablas por los codos, remember this expression, as well as in other particular cases like hablar con alguien, hablar conmigo, hablar contigo, o hablar por teléfono, hablar por Zoom, hablar por WhatsApp. And also to speak about languages. What language is spoken somewhere, or what languages do you speak? Let's now get into the more tricky distinction, which is with the verbs contar and decir. And before we get into the rules, just quickly a glance at the conjugation of both verbs in the present and in the past. So decir, yo digo, is irregular in the first person, is one of those go verbs like salir, salgo. And tú dices, dice, decimos, decís, dicen. And contar is also irregular. It goes o to ue. It's cuento, cuentas, cuenta, contamos, contáis, cuenta. And in the past, decir is also irregular. Would be yo dije, tú dijiste, él dijo, dijimos, dijisteis, dijeron. Contar is a regular verb in the past. Conté, contaste, contó, contamos, contasteis, contaron. So, with the conjugation out of the way, now I have a challenge for you. Ayer hablé con John, says Sergio, pero no si iba a venir a clase hoy. We want to say that he didn't tell me if he was coming to class today. What would be the right verb here? We would say, ¿me contó si iba a venir a clase? O ¿me dijo? Well, it would be, me dijo, no me dijo si iba a venir a clase. Why is that? It's because we use the decir to talk about the content of what was said, something specific, a specific piece of information. If he was going to come to class or not, it's quite a specific kind of information. But other examples would be, me dijo dónde vive. He told me where he lives. O te dije que llegaría 5 minutos tarde. I told you I would be 5 minutes late. And pay attention to the second sentence because it's very common when we refer speech or we say we relay some kind of information to use decir que in this conjunction que. And aside from talking about what was said by someone or by yourself, you can also use decir to ask or give that specific information. Like, ¿me puedes decir el precio de esta camiseta? Can you tell me the price of this shirt? Or, well, it's not shirt actually, it would be your t-shirt. Camiseta, shirt is more camisa. And dime cuándo te vas de vacaciones. Tell me when you are going on vacation. So you can ask or give a specific information. And now it's time to look into when do we need to use the verb contar. Instead of asking, giving, or relaying specific information, now we are narrating details about an event, situation, story, or anecdote. Some examples. Cuéntame cómo fue el viaje a Cáceres. Tell me how was the trip to Cáceres. Again, I'm expecting here more details, some stories, some anecdotes about your trip. And before I use the verb dime, now cuéntame, and I think it's important for you to know how to conjugate both of these verbs, decir and contar, in the command tense, because you will say a lot, tell me something, like dime or cuéntame. Okay, so this will be the command tenses. And one more example regarding contar as the verb we use to narrate some details would be nos contó cómo conoció a nuestra madre. He told us how he met our mother. And let me know if you get that reference or not. And contar is also used to tell a joke. We said events, also stories, anecdotes, but jokes too. That's why we say contar un chiste. Chiste means joke. You will never say decir un chiste. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to tell you a joke in Spanish. And let's see if you can understand it or not. ¿Cuál es el último animal que subió al arca de Noé? Which one is the last animal to get up to Noah's Ark? Well, would be el delfín. El delfín. Okay. This one might be tricky, but let me know if you got it in the comments and if you thought it was funny. If you thought it was not funny, don't tell me, please. I will be offended. I take my jokes very seriously. So now you know the main difference between decir and contar, right? So decir, to relay, to say what was said about something quite specific, while contar is when you narrate the details of some events, some stories, or some anecdotes. You can also tell some jokes with it. So let's see two more contexts that will make my point even more clear about this difference. Imagine someone says something very, very, very offensive, like, todavía no estoy suscrito a KeySpanish on YouTube. I'm not yet subscribed to KeySpanish on YouTube. So, as someone who is very offended, you would say something like, what did you say? What did you say? And be very mad about it. Well, in Spanish, that would be, ¿qué has dicho? ¿Qué has dicho? Because again, that's something very specific. There's no detail to it. You are offended at a very specific fact. And therefore, you say, ¿qué has dicho? Dicho is the participle of decir. Now, imagine a second scenario. You ask a friend, oye, ¿qué tal el fin de semana? And she sends you a 7-minute audio on WhatsApp, what we call a podcast, basically. And you would say, bueno, no me cuentes tu vida. No me cuentes tu vida. And this expression, contarle tu vida a alguien, is when you just talk too much about something. There's too much detail, too much that you are saying that's unnecessary, maybe, right? So when you talk excessively, you can tell someone, no me cuentes tu vida. Don't tell me all about your life, okay? Just keep it simple, right? Keep it to one or two pieces of information. So I think these two scenarios put in context when we use decir and when we use contar. But just in case that's not enough, I'm going to share a few more examples with you. So, ¿te he contado lo que me pasó en Barcelona? Did I tell you what happened in Barcelona? Again, there is a story behind Barcelona and what happened there. O, me dijo Borja que comiste croquetas. ¿Te gustaron? Borja told me you had croquetas. Do you like them? Something very specific. You had croquetas, right? There's not that much detail about that. So, ¿qué tal con Rocío? Cuéntamelo todo. How did it go with Rocío? Tell me all about it. Tell me all about it. Cuéntamelo todo. Again, I'm expecting more details in this story with Rocío. And perdona, ¿me puedes decir dónde está el banco? Excuse me, can you tell me where... No el banco, el baño. Can you tell me where the bathroom is? So again, specific piece of information that I'm asking about, that's decir. But I'm not going to lie, it's not always that straightforward. This distinction between specific information or details sometimes can get a bit confusing. Let's see some examples. Examples where sometimes both can be used, but contar has a different implication. Like, ella me contó o me dijo que cenaste con Sergio. She told me you had dinner with Sergio. You can interpret this in two ways. Just everything there is to this is that you had dinner with Sergio and that's all. Then it's me dijo que cenaste con Sergio. However, if this is a story or there is more to it and you need more details because of the context, then you would say me contó que cenaste con Sergio. So you can say both things. You can decir about a story or topic if there is not much information, or you can contar something if you think there is more to it. And the same with sentences like, tell me the truth. Dime la verdad o cuéntame la verdad. With dime la verdad, maybe it's just a one-sentence reply. Okay, yes, I did it. It was me who broke the glass. Ale, sí, yo rompí el vaso o el cristal. However, if there is, again, more to this, more to the truth, more details, then you would say, cuéntame la verdad. And lastly, I want to share one case in which only the theory is possible. And that's when a command is being relayed. That Alejandro me dijo que hiciera las tareas. Alejandro told me to do the homework. So when someone tells you to do something and you are relaying that information, only the theory will be the correct way of saying to tell. Don't me contó que hiciera las tareas. So with commands, always decir. And that's it regarding the differences between decir and contar, and also when to use hablar with its prepositions and some useful expressions. But now it's time for you to practice. Okay? Remember, KeySpanish is not a lazy-friendly channel, so I want you to use what you are learning. I'm going to challenge you with a couple of exercises. The situation is, ¿dónde está el banco? Where is the bank? In this case, what's the verb that makes sense? Is decir dónde está el banco o contar dónde está el banco? Well, it would be decir. It's a specific kind of information. With una historia, ¿es decir una historia o contar una historia? Or to tell a story, it would be contar una historia. Right? One more, tu número de teléfono. Decir or contar? Again, try to answer before I give you the correct one. Okay? Pause the video if you need to think. It would be decir tu número de teléfono. To tell your phone number to someone. Again, specific information. Un secreto, decir un secreto o contar un secreto. It's contar un secreto. A secret normally, there's a story behind it, there's some detail, so you cuentas un secreto. And the last one, ¿cómo os conocisteis? Decir cómo os conocisteis o contar cómo os conocisteis. It would be contar. Again, because you are narrating details about an event. How did you meet? And now let's see if you can complete these sentences with either hablar plus a preposition or not, contar or decir. Sergio and John are speaking, and Sergio says, oye, no me has lo que pasó con tu mujer. What would be here the right verb? Would be, no me has contado lo que pasó con tu mujer. I have to say something, a quick note, that I didn't mention before with hablar, is that you can also use the structure hablar de algo to talk about something. And that would be also possible. You can say, no me has hablado de lo que pasó con tu mujer. But for now, let's keep it with contar and decir for to tell. And here, bueno, Teresa sobre el divorcio. So Sergio is saying, you didn't tell me what happened with your wife. John replies, well, I talked to Teresa about the divorce. How would be I talked to? Would be hablé con Teresa sobre el divorcio. Remember the preposition con with hablar. Y que te se enfadó. And what did she tell you? Did she got mad? Would be que te dijo. ¿Qué te dijo? Se enfadó. And John says, ¿qué va? Not at all. ¿Qué va? ¿Qué le parecía perfecto? So, no, she didn't get mad at all when I told her about the divorce. In fact, she told me, me dijo, that she thought it was perfect. So, me dijo que le parecía perfecto. Decir. Again, is a specific reply. There's no story here. And lastly, Sergio says, vaya, entonces su aventura en Ibiza? Oh, well, then did she tell you about her adventure in Ibiza? Oh, wow, that's something Sergio knew and John didn't. So is this te contó o te dijo su aventura en Ibiza? It would be te contó because, again, I'm pretty sure there is a story behind an adventure in Ibiza. I'm quite confident about that. So that's why it would be contar. I hope you found this lesson useful, and now with the exercises, this distinction between contar and decir is more clear, and you also can use hablar in the proper context with the right preposition, just hablar con alguien, hablar por teléfono, and contar to narrate events with details, decir to rely or ask for specific information. And before you go, I want to give you the chance of winning a very valuable prize. And that is cerveza gratis, a free beer. I'm very generous with you because I really appreciate your time and attention here with my lessons. So you have the chance to win this free beer if you can tell me the right answer, for the first student to give me the right answer in the comments down below, to these 5 sentences. So, John es un hombre, sorry, there's a mistake here, no calla, I mean callado, that's a quiet man. No mucho, so he doesn't speak much. What would be the right verb here to complete the sentence? Second sentence would be, cuéntame o dime cómo empezaste a enseñar español. Tengo curiosidad. Tell me, how did you start to teach Spanish? I'm curious. Alejandro siempre dice, cuenta que hay que estudiar todos los días. Alejandro always says or tells that one has to study every day. Number 4, conocí a una mujer muy interesante, pero no me dijo con todo su nombre. I met a very interesting woman, but she did not tell me her name. And no uso mucho el teléfono. Prefiero en persona. Is that the verb hablar, contar, or decir? Again, the first to answer in the comments to these 5 sentences with the right verb will get una cerveza gratis. I hope you found this lesson useful. If so, please dale a me gusta. It's gratis, give it a like, it's free. And if you want to continue mastering Spanish, you can watch next a lesson I did about another pair of confusing verbs, which are saber and conocer. Soy Alejandro de KeySpanish y nos vemos en clase.